Hey, hi there. All right, so a few weeks into isolation, and it happens to be Easter. Hope you're happy, well. Some of the syllables. Okay, so it's right around the corner from Easter. Tomorrow's Easter, so want to make some hot cross buns. Yeast baking is once you've got the knack of it, if you're a novice and you've done it a few times, it'll be easier. It's the first time you're doing it, it's going to be a little bit difficult, it's going to take some try. So put your passion into it, get the kids together, and hopefully I can make it a little bit easier. All right, so essentially for all yeast baking, but I'm not going to go for ratios and all of that now. I just want to focus 100% on hot cross buns. So we have flour, 500 grams. I have sugar, 30 grams. I've got yeast, 7 grams. Salt, I've got, how much was it? 15 grams of salt. We work on percentages, but if later when I speak about baking, I will go more intense into ratios and percentages. Then we've got some milk and eggs, so about 300 milliliters milk, 3 eggs, 3 times 50 grams, that's 150 grams. Then I've got some butter, 100 grams. I've got 1 orange, 1 lemon. I've got 1% cinnamon. Cinnamon is going to be your key on success or failure, but I'll get into that a little later. Then I've got raisins, 100 grams. I've got some 40 grams of mixed peel. If you don't like mixed peel, don't use it. I've got some dried apple. I like dried apple. If you don't like dried apple, don't use it. Okay, once again, make it your own. Have fun with it, play around with it. What you don't like, what you do like, just have fun with it. Okay, so yeast is a single cell organism, all right? I'm not, you'll see the dry ingredients, normally you'd add all your dry ingredients. I'm not gonna add the cinnamon with the yeast because the cinnamon has cinnamaldehyde, essentially, which is an alkaline and an acid, and it actually breaks down the yeast. So I'm going to add the cinnamon in a little bit later, so that I don't destroy my yeast. There was an experiment done in 1950s, and in the 50s they added different compounds and things that were failing in yeast, and they found that cinnamon actually released or restricted the yeast by half of the amount of carbon dioxide, so it stopped it from growing. All right, that's all you need to know, so I'll add it a little bit later. Okay, enough talking. I'm adding into my handy dandy mixing machine. If you don't have one at home, get a young lad or a young lady who's got very strong arms and they can start mixing. So I'm adding the flour, salt, sugar, yeast, and then I'm going to add the milk and the eggs. All right, I found that a softer dough gives you a better product in the end. Oh yeah, eggshells. I'm sure a way to make sure that everybody knows you made it yourself is put some eggshells in. All right, and then put it on low, and you can speed it up a little later. What I want to show you now is this has just been mixed for a couple of little minutes. I want to show you what an undeveloped dough is. Just remember what I said, is I'm working with a very soft dough. I like soft dough, some bakers like harder doughs, and you need to rely on the gluten. When you look at this here, it's sticky and it doesn't stretch open. It breaks up, okay? That's not ready. When it's ready, I'll take another pick of it and show you what you're trying to achieve. That would be called a developed dough. Okay, it's developed now. Now you will notice, if you were mixing by hand, you would probably want to make the dough a little bit harder, a little bit less milk, just so that it can mix properly. I like to work it wet, like I said, the product in the end comes out better. Okay, why find that? Okay, but I did that little test earlier, so now I'm taking it, and you'll notice it's able to make a cling film. All right, so it's able to stretch open and it holds itself. That's the gluten. Gluten essentially is the endosperm of wheat, and that's what gives dough its elasticity. Now for the key ingredients, the flavor of the hot cross buns. I take lemon and orange. Okay, so I just grate it. Try not to get the white pith of it because that seems to make it bitter. I just take a little bit of it. Try not to squeeze your lemon as well. You still want some lemon for your Corona beers. Okay. Then, same situation. Get some nice flavor in there. I just use a fly. I try to use an old grater that's not that super sharp. Super sharp when it digs in. These blunt ones I actually hold on to. I like them because it grates much better. Okay, then I'm going to add the butter in, which is going to make it even softer. It also enriches it, gives a beautiful flavor. Then I take the orange peel. I'm going to post the recipe once again on a link so you can follow it from there. Cinnamon, raisins, and peel. You can chop the peel up finer if you want. If you want to use the finer grater, go for it. I'm going to mix this probably for a couple of minutes just to make sure everything's incorporated and it's ready to rest. It's mixed, all the ingredients are in, the flavors there. It smells beautiful. The lemon and the orange comes in. You can see it's still quite a sticky dough. When you're baking, always have a little bit of flour handy. I'm just going to turn them into each other. Okay, take that off. Take it onto your floured surface. You might want to use more raisins or more whatever it is. Go wild, it's yours. Make it your own. You know, that's how grandma used to do her own thing. Her mom showed her a few things and she changed it up to make it her own. Okay, so there we go. Beautiful dough, nice and light. Now it's going to have to bulk proof, what we would say, for at least an hour in a warm space. People are going to try and get, oh yes, but he said an hour, and I put it for an hour and it didn't work. Well, your kitchen might have been 21 degrees. And another person will say, yeah, he said an hour and it overproofed and it messed, and their kitchen is 39 degrees. So listen, until it's double its size. So I'm going to use the same bowl that I'm mixed in. Okay, I'll put a little bit of flour in there. You can see there. Okay, when that's double its size, so whatever the temperature, the ambient temperature of the dough, how much degrees your milk was, let's not overthink these things. When it looks like that, stretchy like that, it's ready. Double proof it. The way I do it, I use the bowl, put a pot lid on there. Okay, 60 odd minutes later, I had it in the oven set at 37 degrees, so ideal temperature for everything to grow is 37 degrees, funnily enough. Thereabouts our blood temperature, our body temperature. Okay, you can see it's doubled in size. And yeah, I cheated because this kept falling in. I'm not used to working such small recipes, normally big ones. So yeah, if you've got a pot that doesn't work, cling wrap works. Now you're going to throw it all out. This is the messy bit, the fun bit. Basically, knock out the air out of this, and then you're going to mold it and prove it, and then we bake it, ready to go. The whole process, if the ideal temperature and if you're comfortable with that, shouldn't take longer than about 3 hours, and you'll have fresh hot cross buns. Okay, now I scale each one out to about 60 grams. Let me do that in the meantime, and I'll get back to you. Okay, now, like I said earlier, I like my dough wet. Okay, every baker is going to have a different opinion. For me, it just gives a much better crumb, nice and soft in texture and everything like that. But in doing that, I basically just roll it into each other. Try and get, if you would imagine, a cling film around it, trying to bubble in if you want to squeeze it and stretch it. If you stretch it too much, it'll pop. If you don't stretch it enough, it'll be too soft. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Because the dough is so wet, you don't have to use so much liquid. Just take a little bit of the milk out if you want it a little bit firmer. But for me, this is perfect. And you can see that the dough itself is holding itself. To mold it, there's two ways you can do it. You can put them into a tin and let them come together. Always first choice. Okay, or you can leave them loose and switch the lights off. Always second choice. Put them in staggered lines if you don't want them to stick together. You can see when I say staggered lines, it's like that in between each other, so when they prove out, you'll have perfect little round balls. Now I have to prove it, like I said, 37 degrees, 100% humidity, probably best. You obviously probably don't have a prover in your home, so I have a little trick for you. Grandma always said, wet a tea towel and put it over, okay? I use cling film, all right? If I was just going to put the cling film on like that, it would stick to the cling film because it gets really delicate. What I do is I take normal spray and cook, spray the plastic, put it over, seal the sides, and put it into a nice warm place. When it's doubled in size, it's ready to go in the oven. Let's get that going. It's about proved. Took about 55 minutes. You see, and you can see with the spray and cook. Dump it in the bin. Sorry, earth. Okay, so now you're ready. You want the stripes. The stripes are kind of easy. It's a little bit of flour, some water, and you want to make that into a bit of a paste. Add a little bit of water at a time. If you add too much water, you'll get lumps, which is not what you want. That's a little bit thick, a little bit more water. And you'll see it'll come into a pipeable paste. Mess on the table is important. Of course, you've got nothing to clean up. Now, probably about that texture, to make a piping bag. Now, I'm going to do this quite quickly. Take the middle, fold it in, put it there, wrap that one around, and you're just making a cone. Alright, get the size of the hole you want, and squeeze it close. Perfect piping bag. Now, putting your paste in it. Just enough for, probably be enough. Okay, it's just to make it white. If you put any sugar or anything in it, it goes brown and you don't see the stripe, then that's kind of pointless. Okay, so now I laugh because I see every cooking channel, and I see even at schools they teach them this. They stand there very delicately with some eggs and they try brush it so that they can have a nice shiny texture. So I'm going to use a little bit of milk and a normal spray gun thingy, okay? And you can spray it on top. Instead of brushing it, just make sure it's close enough.
Don't spray me.
Get a nice even spray. You're not touching the dough, so it's not sticking, it's not going to spoil or anything like that. And you'll have a nice glaze on top. It is messy, but you know what? It's part of baking. Alright. If you don't want messy, go to countdown. Alright, pipe you. Put your stripes on. I'm going to need to make another cornet. This is called a cornet in the business anyway.
You did it so fast. Okay.
Okay, so oven set at 190, a little bit hotter. If you want soft things, if you want crispy things, I'm not going to go into it, but essentially you would increase then decrease the temperature. All right, into the oven. Normally you preheat the oven. I've got really fancy ovens that heat up really, really quickly. So there we go. I don't think it will take longer than about 20 to 25 minutes. See you then. So the hot cross buns are almost there, almost caramelized to dark caramelized, which is great. Okay, you're going to need a sticky bun smear. Okay, so nowadays people use apricot jam. I really don't like the apricot jam. I prefer the old traditional sticky bun smear. I just take 150 grams of sugar, some water, just to moisten the sugar. You don't want it to become undersaturated, but I'm not going to get technical again. Right, and a knob of butter. No, you pommy bastards, not that knob, a knob of butter. Okay, boil that up. As soon as it comes out the oven, paint it on, ready to roll. Okay, so buns ready. Simple as. If only you could smell it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How to check they're ready? They're ready. Okay. Sticky bun smear is boiling. Just remember, it needs to be reasonably thick. If you put too much water in it, it's not gonna work too well. Okay, so brush all your buns with sticky bun smear, and there we go. Perfect. Let's break it up. Perfect and light. I love them light and
Smells
God,
beautiful.
it's hot. Shit. I said shit.
Delicious.
I'm not supposed to say shit, Michelle. I said it 3-4 times now.
Okay.
Straight out the oven. And that's what you're looking for. For me, it needs to be nice and soft. I love the top because I love the sticky bun smear.
It's hot. Burn your mouth.
Shit. Oh, hot. Pretty damn average. If your average isn't excellent, it's not good enough. Okay, so we're doing this through COVID-19, and we're going through all the emotions. We're going through concerns for our family, we're going through the concerns of our livelihood, we're going through the concerns of our businesses, we're going through the concerns of our staff and our businesses, because they're also close, they're also entwined in our lives. Stay positive, that's all I have to say. Wake up every morning, say 10 things you're thankful for. Okay? We're still alive, we're not at risk, and if you are, get somebody around who's going to make you feel positive. Be it your children, be it anyone. Stay safe, stay happy, try stay happy. I know it's difficult, and we're all going through the same thing. All right. Love you all. Have a beautiful Easter.